Hey, I mean, that was a good point.
I think we might start seeing some go back. It's area round time, and we're here to talk about it 3A style. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin here. Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition, brought to you by SI Design and Printing, right here on L4 Media. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great on this second round playoff night. We got the playoff tree.
Yeah, we got the playoff tree. We were supposed to get it last week, but it didn't come till actually yesterday morning.
We had one the year before. What happened to that one?
It was a janky one. Yeah, nobody even saw it. I think I put a picture online. It was blue. I actually liked the color of it. It was blue, but you had to put the lights on, and then the stand broke. And
Yeah, blue's kind of tacky for a tree, though.
no, it was perfect cowboy
No, you
blue.
actually want white lights. Next time we're going to do
I hate
white lights.
I hate white lights.
Well, you're just dumb, though.
Marshall back in the 80s created that Wonderland of lights, real
Mhm.
big. It's ebbed and flowed since then, but for a long time it was really big.
Mhm.
And it was all white lights. I hate that.
I love them.
I like the lights that are not white. I don't want to say the other word because you'll turn it around on me. That's how you do. Anyway,
I don't. What do I do?
I'm just don't even bring it up.
It's cool though. LEDs. I love new technology, like not necessarily the LEDs, but the clapper.
Yeah, I put some of
Who
our.
would ever thought they'd had that 20 years ago?
Now, one thing cool about the LEDs though is I could put that hat on top and it doesn't get hot. If that was an old tree, because that's a star underneath it. If that was an old tree, I'd have to take the hat off.
Stars are hot.
Well, back in the day, the heat from the light.
Let's go back to stars though. Astronomy.
Oh, I was meant the Dallas
sun.
Stars.
Stars pretty good too.
Yeah,
though.
they are 10-3-1 right now.
I don't watch hockey during football.
Dude, we're
season,
in a
though.
renaissance of Dallas sports all of a sudden. Cowboys should make the playoffs. Mavericks are surprisingly 9-2.
I'm sitting courtside Sunday night.
You've become a Maverick fan.
I am, but I don't talk basketball and baseball and hockey during football season.
You don't talk
because you know why?
Why?
Because I'm a red-blooded American Texan. What are you petting over there?
This special Texas Ranger hat that says something about. Well, let me read it. Huh? It won some kind of tournament. It appears.
The sad thing is, you're almost as much of an Astro fan as you are.
Not anymore.
Ranger
I used to be. Yeah, I grew up in both. In fact, if I were to do my top 5 teams as a kid of all sports, 1986 Houston Astros would be up there because they were fun to watch. Anyway.
Oh yeah, with that guy with the bat, that was really good. That was awesome.
Hey,
I know that team.
Hey, at least my laugh isn't as bad as it was last week.
No,
I'm getting a little bit. I'm on antibiotics.
Like 2 packs a day.
Yeah, I'm only on 2 packs. 2 packs. I'm like Jada.
What's with the? Why am I wearing these?
Because of
and you're
if you don't know, last week these aren't cool. These are 8. Those are cool. I love the retro. That's why I got them. In fact, the old stand that we had that just didn't work.
Retro.
Yeah, they're more of a retro old look, like the old 70s hypho, whatever you call those. No, part of the reason I'm wearing these cheap earbuds is, again, if you don't know, if you can't tell by my voice, I've been sick. I'm on antibiotics. I have bronchitis. And wearing those for a while actually starts to make my head thump.
So
and
I'll probably get bronchitis within the week.
I mean,
thank you.
I've had it for 2 trips now, and you're good. So maybe you're. Man, that's one thing I've learned. You know this, being a little older than me. Back in the day, it felt like you get a cold on Monday, you were back on ready to go on Wednesday. Now, man, a cold, and 2 weeks later, I'm still struggling. Are you gonna lay out on me now? All right,
I'm not laying out on you.
Let's bring up.
Understand why you call me older.
You are older,
like a year,
3 years,
maybe 3.
You're 52.
Okay, well that's.
I'm 48. 4 years. I'm 48.
Negligible. When you get this old,
yeah, we're all the same. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. We're all about the same. Anyway, it comes up on the board now, the Class 3A Division I playoff bracket, because that's what we're going to talk, and we're going to start where we always start, and that's out in Region 1. Dalhart 8-3 versus Paradise 10-1. That game is Friday, 6 p.m. Vernon Lions Stadium.
Vernon's getting a lot of playoff games all of a sudden. They had 2 last week. They got 2 this week, maybe?
Yes.
I know at least one.
Back to back. Yeah, they back to back games we're about to talk about. That's the thing. You and I were talking off the air. Now, if you don't know, If you're new to our shows, Thanksgiving is our big playoff. We try to, and we have the last few years where we're at as many games as we can be on. Like we leave either late Thursday night or early Friday morning, and we don't come back till Sunday afternoon. And we're going to see some 3A, some 4A. And this is usually the first round. We might check out at Duncanville because they usually kind of play in the same area. And so we were talking off the air about stadiums not getting games like they used to. One of the positive is you start getting other stadiums like Vernon. It all depends on how these regions fall.
Yeah.
It's not about like somebody was like, well, why didn't they go here anymore? They must not like it. Well, no, it's just that used to be in the middle of two teams and now it's not, but another stadium is, and that's Vernon. I'm sorry, right off the top of my head, I can't see that. I can't see who was it that Dalhart beat last week? I know it was an upset.
Dalhart beat Denver City.
Yes, thank
40
you.
to 28, I think it was.
Thank you.
Like
that's the one I could not see on the bracket because I have it cut off.
Dalhart's coming in at 8-3 against Paradise 10-1. Dalhart has Kyler Reed at quarterback, 1,700 yards passing, 1,200 yards rushing, and so very dangerous dual threat quarterback. Right. The problem is they are facing a Paradise team with one of the most dangerous dual threat quarterbacks in all of Class 3A in Austin Iglesias. That guy is arguably one of the best football players in all of Class 3A. Oh, and then the Paradise defense only allows 8.5 points a game on average.
So I have just in one of those fortunate things where I have had 3 of the coaches that I do coaches show play Paradise, Brock, Munster, and Millsap.
And none of them would want to play him again, right?
No, but Brock will have to. But all 3 of them said the same thing. Austin Iglesias is amazing, but that young linebacker core of Kobe Dickens and Blaine Watson are just almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
And that defense gets lost in what they're doing offensively.
Yeah, their defense was great last year.
Yes, and even in their loss, they were good against Brock. Brock got a special teams touchdown of that 26 points and another special teams return and a turnover return that weren't touchdowns but put Brock deep into Paradise territory. What they've done to Whitesboro, to Millsap, to Munster, to Godley, and I know Godley ended up not turning out to be what we thought they were, but at the beginning of the year, Godley was thought to be a 3 or 4 round team, and they held them to 8. So I like what Dalhart has done this year, but Paradise they got that chip back on their shoulder from that Brock Austin. They're using it right, and I think they roll. I don't even think this is close.
No, I don't either. I think Paradise wins this one going away. They'll take the winner of Bushland and Whitesboro being played Thursday over in Vernon.
Yeah.
Give me the 10-1 Bushland Falcons over Whitesboro. Whitesboro with the nice win last week over Jim Ned, 35-34, but I don't think that carries over against Bushland and this quarterback and a defense that's very underrated.
Now, but give 4-3A credit once again. They were a Peaster goal line going for it on 4th down and failing to sweeping once again. And I mean, we've still got 3 of them alive, but I think there are teams that can score on Bushland, like a Paradise. What Whitesboro does offensively, I think Bushland can play defensively. Bushland struggles when they play big teams that will push them around. I don't think Whitesboro is one of those
and
teams.
There's not many in this region, I think, that really pushes them around a whole lot.
I think next week. Yeah, I think next week they face one of them.
Yeah,
if it happens like
absolutely
that.
they do. But just early in the first 2 rounds.
I agree. And we both have Bushland winning this game. And I think it can be close early, but I think Bushland ends up stretching this out.
Yeah.
Clyde 10-1 versus Shallowater 6-5, 4 p.m. Abilene Shotwell Stadium. I'm going to say it right now. Give me Shallowater.
Okay. I'm going Clyde, but I can definitely see your point here.
Again, Peaster, a team that started coming together late in the year. Trevor Owens' offense, running that old Mickey Owens, slot T form, kind of a slot T, sometimes a little wing T schemes.
More of a wing T.
Yeah, you're right, because I don't do a lot of the rush to the line.
Or the flex bone, maybe.
Oh, there you go. I think that's actually what it was. Top of my head. Shallowater, we talked about, they started the year 0-3, losses to Monahans. Speaking of, Seminole and Hereford. That Hereford loss, of course, doesn't look bad now. Then they lost back-to-back in district, and that Dalhart one was a little bit concerning. But look, Dalhart's in the second round. So at some point, you got to give that as a quality loss because it was 21-14.
Clyde struggled a little bit last week,
against Peaster. And we've talked about it. And this is not a knock on Clyde. It's just when you're a team that haven't been there in a while, and Clyde hasn't been there in a long while, you either do one of two things. You either run through the playoffs, and Clyde could still do that, or you get a learning experience after that second round. And I just with how Peaster played them, and I think Shallow Water is a little bit bigger, a little bit older. I think this is a heck of a game. But I just don't think the Mustang season's over yet. I think they're still wanting to be it's weird to say Shallow Water is a dark horse, but I think they are now. I think they win.
I like Clyde, but I think it's close, and I do see a scenario where Shallow Water does win. But give me Clyde, take on the winner, Brock and Muleshoe. Brock 8-3, Muleshoe 9-2. This is over in Angelo at San Angelo Stadium on Thursday night. This has the makings of being a good game, but look, Muleshoe's up against it defensively. I think when this Brock defensive front and that core of linebackers want to play, they're just going to be tough to beat. Nito and Brody Woods is playing better at quarterback.
Yeah,
for
he's
Brock.
playing not only better, he's actually now playing really, really good.
Oh, yeah. Brett Tutter at running back, Carson Finney at receiver. I think Muleshoe with Jasu Sagala and Daniel Sayans, both at running back. Both of them are over, 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But I think that feeds right into the strength of Brock's defense.
Yeah. Look, last year this was 57-20, and we talked about it in the 2A show.
Do they even get to 20 this year?
That's what I'm saying. Muleshoe might be better, but I think Brock
Muleshoe
is better
than they were last year.
But I think
Nathan Martin's at quarterback.
Yeah.
But again, this Brock defensive front is so good.
Yeah, I think Brock ends up winning it pretty comfortably. All right, let's go to Region 2. I had told you off the air, so we're not going on a game together this week. I'm going to wait and see how I am. I might just sit it out and watch on TV.
I think I'm going to, Jimmy and I are going to so Thursday I might be going over and seeing Grandview and Pottsboro.
That's going to be a
Mesquite,
good one.
And then heading out to Pittsburgh for Hooks and Dangerfield.
That's going to be a good one. I had said I might go to the Bells game. I might go to the Winsboro game. It's the one that's in Kaufman Norville Field.
Okay.
Winsboro 10-0 versus Teague 8-3, 7 p.m. Friday. And if I feel better, one of the reasons I want to go to this one is I think Teague is good enough defensively to give Winsboro some issues. Not beat them, but give them some issues.
I would have agreed with that until I saw them for one quarter, Winsboro against Hooks. Let me tell you, this Winsboro team, dude, with Kyler Finney at quarterback, he's got two receivers.
Oh, yeah.
That can go up and get it. Winsboro's outscored their opponents 514-96. I think that Teague team is cute, but when they get against a Winsboro team, Winsboro is the real deal. Winsboro is one of the best teams that I've seen in 3A Division I so far this year. And granted, it was only for about a quarter, but I am very, very impressed with this Winsboro team. I think Winsboro wins this one going away.
I think it eventually is going away too, but I do think Teague is athletic enough on the back end that if they can
really good defense,
and yeah, they the 4 shutouts on the year. They did give up 35 to Malakoff, but Malakoff does different. What them and Winsboro do. Now, I will say this: I do think the thing that we don't talk enough about, because we talk about the passing game, is that offensive line for Winsboro is pretty big. Yeah, and if they need to, I think they can move.
Their defensive front
and their defense fronts
kind of the same
big
guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're at that level where you are. I think Winsboro wins going away, but I think there could be a little push
early. Make it interesting.
Game early, yeah. Okay. But I think at the end of the day, we've talked about it in this region, man. It's a great region, but anyway, we'll get to it. Tatum 6-4 versus Whitney 10-1 Friday, 7 p.m. Dallas Kincaid Stadium. That's a stadium that has kind of not been in the rotation for 4A, 3A, and 2A last few years. It looks like it's getting back into. Very underrated stadium. I like it. Dude, I'm telling you what, man, Tatum's starting to get hot. And if Cole Watson is playing, I think it takes
Played
a lot.
Last week.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it takes a lot to beat Cole Watson when it comes to the playoffs.
It does. And let me tell you this, Whitney 10-1, their defense allows only about 15 points a game.
Yep. And they're not going to. So if you see them, they're not going to blow you away. Like, you're not going to look at them when they line up and go, oh my God, this defense is just going to destroy everybody. But this defense is so much better than what I saw against Pottsboro last year in that playoff game. When I always joke about you and Lindell and Needville, how it was a high scoring game and everybody else is all excited and you're texting me going, this sucks. And that's how I was texting you last year. Like, dude, this isn't even fun, because it was kickoff, 3-play score, kickoff, 3-play score. And at times there was no defense. Whitney this year, not the same, but you could also say, outside of their one loss, they haven't played the toughest schedule. And in that one loss, they gave up 40 points. So that's why I think Tatum, and we know Tatum can score, I think this is a track meet, not as bad as last year versus Pottsboro. I just feel like Tatum wins this game.
I'm picking Tatum too. I think by records, you would call this an upset.
Oh, yeah, I think it's an upset.
But yeah, I'm taking Tatum in this one.
Yeah, I just feel like Cole Watson and an offense all the way around that just can.
Hey, that Tatum defense only gave up like 7 points last week. I know Commerce scored 21, but
yeah,
one of those was a defensive score and then maybe a special team score. So this Tatum defense, look, Commerce isn't the greatest offense, but
they weren't terrible.
No, they weren't terrible.
And for a Tatum team that has struggled the last 2 years to figure out the new system and kind of get into it, holding Jefferson a couple weeks ago to 21 points, that was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Jefferson got beat in the first round, but Jefferson has a running back that's what had been giving Tatum problems. And again, I think it's a shootout though. But I think Tatum wins in the slight upset. All right, here's a rematch of a state championship game a few years ago. Grandview 10-1 versus Pottsboro 9-2 at Mesquite Memorial. That's where Pottsboro played last year when I saw them against Whitney. 7 p.m. Thursday. Look, I kind of got called out on our hypocrisy about it, literally talking about what Cole Watson can do for Tatum and then saying, yeah, but Pottsboro only has one guy. Yeah, but when it's Major McBride, I mean, I thought Jefferson had enough to beat them. And what they did at times to Jefferson offense, and I know Jefferson crawled back into the game and made it a game late, but still, I like what they've done. But in saying that, I still think Grandview is just a better overall team.
I do too, but let's go back to Pottsboro. Major McBride averaging 231 yards a game rushing.
And I think
that is crazy. And
I think as a team, they're averaging like 290. So he's literally getting
right. Yeah. Now Grandview 10-1, and their only loss was to Malakoff 51-21. I do tend to lean towards the physicality of Grandview in this one. But I think this is going to be a classic, and I think that's one of the reasons we're at least me and Kevin are going out to this game maybe on Thursday in Mesquite. So, do I hear Alexa in the background?
Yeah, I get an NFL update every night at 7:30. Sorry. Y'all can't hear it probably. We can just hear it. But anyway,
I thought I heard her say your dildo or something was being
No, that
delivered.
was at 3. I've already put it up.
Oh, you did? Man, that thing was huge.
Jesus Christ. I can tell the energy drinks are kicking in.
Okay. So I like Grandview over Pottsboro, but I think this could be a good one, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is one of the better games in Class 3 Division 1. Malakoff 11-0 versus Mount Vernon 8-3. This game is 7:30 Friday at Tyler Rose Stadium. I said it last week. I think what Clayton George has done at Mount Vernon has been pretty good. I actually thought that they would backslide a little bit more. Not against him, but I mean, they literally just kind of completely changed philosophies after having Art Browse and then Brad Aldman, that Art Browse tree, and then they just completely go away from it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there can be kind of a shock, and they were also losing a ton of talent. For them to be, I think, eventually 8-4 is a very good success story for the Tigers this year.
Yeah, but it doesn't match up well.
No.
Malakoff just, look, it is a bad matchup for a lot of teams, especially in this region. Look, Malakoff 11-0. We talk about Malakoff's offense with Mike Jones at quarterback, how amazing he is. What gets lost in all that talk is Malakoff's defensive prowess. They're only giving up 6.6 points a game on average. Think about that.
They've been dominating.
6.6. That is speed, that is size, that is technique, that is all the things you want in a football team. Malakoff might be in Arlington, and when they get there, might be one of the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that, for all the talk of everybody looking at Region 3 and then Brock in Region 1 being two-time state finalists. Malakoff, we compared with how them in Paradise, and they kind of did the same thing, but Malakoff made that a rallying cry. And it wasn't just that they got beat by Brock, but they admitted, dude, Brock out physicaled us, and you don't out physical a Malakoff team. Their teams beat Malakoff, but very few walk off the field going, we pushed them around. And they felt Brock pushed them around last year.
And they're taking this personal.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, I remember talking about the game in week 2. We both thought that they would beat Grandview, but we thought we always joked it's always 21-14, 21-17. And I remember going back and just seeing the scores as it's happening, going, holy crap. Yeah. Like, we know Grandview's good. So for them to be dominating them, and they dominated them, it just tells me that Malakoff's here to stay for a long time.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. That was
Region 3, right?
Yeah. Hey, can I pat myself on the back for this one? Direball 9-2 versus Little River Academy. 9-2, Friday, 7 p.m. at Navasota's Rattler Stadium. The Bumblebees pull off the quote unquote upset against Hitchcock last week. And we said it, or I said it, and you were close. I say me, you were like, I want to do it. I'm going to go Hitchcock, but I see why you think it. And the thing that I saw multiple times, but especially in person, is Hitchcock's line play was just so up and down. Mm-hmm. And Little River, we talk about Casey Mirage and all that, but Little River Academy can run the ball. Yeah. And they can move the ball. They even moved it at times against Franklin. Now, Franklin's still playing. They're still mad about Loretta a few weeks ago. So eventually they wore them down. But yeah, I saw it happening. Now, in saying that, I think Direball is a tougher matchup style-wise. Not that Hitchcock or Direball's better than Hitchcock, but style-wise, I do think Direball's a tougher matchup because they are going to be a little bit more like Franklin. They're going to run the ball between the tackles. They're going to grind you down. And we saw against Franklin, that's Little River's struggle, is when they start getting pushed back, they try to adjust, but they just don't have the hosses up front against those type teams.
Yeah, but I don't think Direball
can do it enough.
For 4 quarters defensively can hold this Academy offense. This Academy offense is special this year. I like Academy winning this game by 14 points.
Yeah, I was going to say it's one of those class. And by the way, Direball's defense is good. When you look on it, they gave up 28 to Franklin. They gave up 24 to Madisonville. They're 2 losses. Other than that, 14, 13, 6, 3, 6, 0, 9, 6, and 20. Mm-hmm. But in saying that, I really do think that Little River Academy, you put them in any other district, they probably win district going away. Yeah. It was just the district they're in. I think this is close early, but I think Little River Academy starts to make hay in that third, and kind of I think 14 points is perfect.
Yeah. All right. They'll take on the winner of Shepherd 6-5, Franklin 10-1 over in Willis on Friday. Give me Franklin all day long over Shepherd.
Yeah, we were talking about it when you looked at the brackets. You could make the case that Franklin finishing second actually gives them the one easier path in this region because the first 2 rounds, they will name their score against Shepherd. This won't even, unless Shepherd does, what was it, Anahuac in the second round last year, came out and tried to play keep away, and literally gave Franklin the ball 3 times, and they scored all 3 times. If they try to do that, it'll happen again. This one's going to get ugly.
I don't think Shepherd has the cats that Anahuac had last year. All right, Lorena 9-2 taking on a 9-2 Palestine Westwood team in Corsicana on Friday. Look, I know Palestine Westwood with Kavian Bryant at quarterback, almost 2,000 yards passing, 720 some odd yards rushing, taking on a Lorena team, though, that has a really good defense that can limit Bryant at quarterback, kind of limit some of his output. But I don't think Westwood is ready for this offensive juggernaut of the Leopards from Lorena. I mean, Caden Roberts at quarterback, Braylon Henry at running back, and then Jaden Porter and Jackson Generals, 2 of the best receiver duos in the state in 3A.
Yeah, I don't even know. This last week might have been Palestine Westwood's first playoff win. in history. They've only
Really?
been like 8 times. This is their 8th time. They might have won one, and I don't remember. But I mean, we all know back in the day, and even back as a few years ago, they were a laughing stock. They were not much better than a Huntington.
Yeah,
and we always joke about that. I mean, famously
with less tickets.
Famously, Adrian Peterson, he basically moved to the Palestine side because they didn't want to play for Westwood. They seem to be having athletes. Again, we talked about this in the 2A. This is a learning experience game. Go watch what Lorena does. Go see what the big boys do, because Lorena is
they are playing a big boy.
And they're rounding in the form, folks. That Franklin win, man, that just, I don't know. Lorena feels like they're on a different level.
Yeah.
But also on a different level is Columbus, 11-0 versus Woodville, 8-3 Friday.
And Woodville is no walkover, man.
No, but I
like Columbus.
I like Columbus.
Woodville can muck it up.
See, I agree, but I just feel like Columbus wins this by 3 or 4 touchdowns.
I think they do too, but I would not be shocked to see Woodville push Columbus.
Oh, no,
but
not at all.
I think Columbus right now is playing on such a level that if I see Columbus play like they played against Hitchcock, I don't know that anybody beats them.
We forgot something.
What?
He's gonna hate us.
Oh, he's gonna hate you.
We'll do it on the Flores show. Sorry.
No, go ahead and name off his at least the write-ups.
We'll do it coming out of the 3A Division 2 into the 3A Division 2.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that, Coach. We just forgot.
He forgot, not me.
Even though you looked at me because you realized it too. I mean, I'm just saying, sometimes daddy government needs to tell people to shut up. Maybe this is our way of doing that. Wow. Let's go to Region 4, Universal City, Randolph.
You're the squad, and Coach X is just a little old voter down here, isn't
he? 10-1 versus Vanderbilt Industrial, 7-3, 7 p.m. at LaGrange's Leper Stadium. This is another one that's going to be a really Region 4 has, in my opinion, 3, possibly even 4, but really 3 good games for sure. And this is one of them. The Rohawks, man, they just feel like they're rounding into form to be there at the end of this region.
But look at Industrial's.
Exactly.
I know they're 7-3, but look at their schedule.
Yeah,
Industrial has had one hell of a schedule.
Yeah, the Cobras on the year lost to Yoakum to begin things, and they lost to Goliad, and then they lost to Edna. Now we can go back to
3 of them.
Still in the playoffs and in this region mostly, except for Yoakum. But now we can go back to none of them were necessarily that close. So does it mean that they've learned anything, or they're going to be better, or does it mean that they're a good team, but when they play better teams, they just can't compete?
Well, I'm going with Industrial in this one.
Oh, really? I'm going to go with the Rohawks. I was about to say, I do think this game will be closer than any of those. But, man, at the end of the day, I just think that, other than that Cole loss, and Cole turned out to be a really good – they lost last week by like 6 points in a really good playoff game against I can't remember who it was. But I think the Rohawks are on a roll right now, and they've got really good offensive line, and I think they pull the win off. I think it'll be close, though. I don't think it'll be like a blowout or anything.
So you got Randolph, and I've got Industrial.
Yep.
All right. And then they'll take on the winner of Jordanton, 11-0. Edna, 8-2. Look, Jordanton has outscored their opponents 484 to 134, but they're taking on an Edna team with Jaden Clay at quarterback, Cade Rodas at running back. This Edna defense situationally has been really good all year. Give me Edna in this one to beat the pretty 11-0 record, but I do think this could be close.
I got Jordan. I got the Indians in this. Yeah, I think they're. I think the next round that even
I'm sticking with my Edna pick.
I have no problem with that. I do say this.
I picked Edna to make it to the semifinals. I'm rolling with that
one. I'll say this. The winner of this game wins the region, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know, because I don't think UC Randolph Industrial next round would be like a shoe-in.
Oh, no, I don't think it's a shoe-in. I'm just saying I think whoever wins this game wins the region. I think this is one of those. Sometimes you get that in that second round, and you look back and you go, oh, that was whoever wins. I think this is a one-possession game. I just think the Indians, and hey, it's classic Cowboys and Indians. Goliad 9-2 versus Hondo 10-1. Friday, Marion's Veterans Stadium.
I'll take Goliad in this one.
Give me Hondo. Now, to me, Hondo has the pretty record, and but they don't have what I would call a real defining win. Give me Goliad. Goliad does have a defining win against Edna.
Yeah, they do. And I think Goliad is just more athletic. All right. They'll take on the winner of Corpus Christi, London, and Blanco, being played over at Hero Stadium. Nice stadium over in San Antonio. Give me Blanco on this one.
Yeah, give me Blanco in this one as well. All right. That is Class 3A Division 1. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do it all again for Class 3A Division 2 right here on Sideline to Sideline, the 3A Area Round Show on L4 Media. We want to thank some of our sponsors, including Small Town Society, located right there in Franklin at the Messiness Studios. You can also find them online at shopsmalltownsociety.com for all your game day gear. If you're a Franklin fan, holiday gear, they have great female holiday shirts. They have Texas shirts. They have inspirational shirts. They have great sales and deals. So check them out, shopsmalltownsociety.com. They are also title sponsor of the Franklin Football Show that you can hear each and every week right here, as long as Franklin keeps playing, which we all think they'll play for a while. Right here on S2S Sport. They're also going to be a big part of our state championship stuff. We'll be talking a little bit more about that when we come back out of this break, and then also over the next few weeks. I also want to thank one of our new ones, Everidge Farms. You can find them online at everidgefarms.com. Man, if you like steak and beef and more steak, throw in some meat with that steak. If you just want a steak on top of meat, Everidge Farms is where to go. They have multiple boxes, like their West Texas box. That's 2 dry-aged sirloin steaks, 2 thick-cut New York steaks, 2 stew meats. They also have 5 pounds of dry-aged ground beef, 3 to 5 pounds of dry-aged chuck roast, all in one box for a great price of $155. They also have a farmer's special, a Grill Master box. They have a ground beef stock up, which is basically either 20 pounds of ground beef or 10 pounds of ground beef. They have it all. Just go to their website, everidgefarms.com. And this is all done on the farm. This is birth to harvest right there on their farm. It's a family. They've been friends with Brett Lee forever. And they have it all there. And you can even buy just individual stuff like the bone-in prime rib for $100, a full brisket, ribeye steak, New York strip steak, all of that. So check them out, everidgefarms.com. You can also find them on Facebook at Everidge Farms. Also want to thank jetboatsoftexas.com. You can find them online at, jetboatsoftexas.com. And now they build the boats from the ground up. As you can tell, we love to have sponsors. You know, they're small businesses, but we like it when they're doing all their stuff there for you and they can custom build, because that's what makes Texans happy. They don't want to buy cookie cutter boats. They want to have their own boat, whether it be a bass boat, a fishing boat, a ski boat. They want it to be jets. They want it to be fast, and they want to be able to say it's, a one of a kind. Go check out their gallery at Jet Boats of Texas. Again, they're going to be big sponsor of our state championship stuff. And you can even go to the boat builder and you basically put everything together and get an idea price wise before you even talk to anybody. And I love websites that do that, where you can have an idea and you don't have to talk to somebody and answer 42 questions. You can all do it right there. And then you can get down to how you're going to pay for it and all that fun stuff. Hey, welcome back, buddy.
Thanks, sir.
Anyway, that is Jet Boats of Texas. I was going to do another ad, but since you're here, dude, let's get right into it and let's go Class 3A Division 2. Give us that first game, because I actually got to go back and put that section up.
All right. Let's see here. The area round of Region 1, 3A Division 2 is going to be 8-3 Crane versus 8-3 Lubbock Roosevelt, being played over in Big Spring on Friday. Crane They average 47 points a game offensively. Lubbock Roosevelt, though, their quarterback, Nate Cesarez, 865 yards rushing so far this year. Give me Lubbock Roosevelt. I think Roosevelt all around defensively and offensively, maybe a little bit more athletic.
And that's Crane gets that issue in round 2 usually. That's
right.
why Crane
and Crane's defense
Yeah.
kind of is better this year, but it's still not great. And I think Lubbock Roosevelt is going to not name their score, but they'll win by 1 to 2 possessions.
I totally agree. There's a reason why that, and Crane's a really solid football program, but there's a reason why they tend to be 8-3, 8-4.
Right.
They hit that second round and they just, they end up having to play a more athletic team. Now, if Lubbock Roosevelt comes in there and they're putting the ball on the ground,
and
Crane is very able to beat them.
Oh, yeah.
I will say this. I would not have put either one of these in the third round at the early part of the year. So congratulations to both the teams for making that. Same thing with Childress, maybe, but they got a tough one as they're taking on Wall 9-2 versus Childress 8-3. This game's at Post Red Man Memorial Stadium.
And the winner will take on the winner of
Crane and Roosevelt. Yeah,
that's right.
I happened to do what you and Kevin do. I went through Post a year and a half, 2 years, a year and a half ago, and took pictures at the Red Man Memorial Stadium. It's a nice stadium.
Okay, cool.
I like Wall in this one.
I like Wall too. And you look at Wall's 2 losses, not bad losses at all. I think Childress has been a lot better than they have been in the last few years. They've been really good the last few years. But I think Childress really good this year. But I like Wall to win this one. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I do feel the winner of this one has a favorable run to that final. It feels like we talked about Edna and Jordanton. It feels like whoever wins this game is playing in the region's championship.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. All right. And then Canadian 11-0, early 6-5. This play being played over in Wolford on Friday. Give me Canadian all day long.
Give me Canadian. Early bounce back, really good after a tough start. But again, the draw. This is why when people try to tell me district champions don't matter anymore. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Where you see, especially in these regions, is the difference in being out in the second round or playing Canadian in the region final. You might still lose, but hey, at least you get 2 more weeks of football out of it.
That's right. They'll take on the winner of Idalou and Alpine. Idalou 7-4, Alpine 6-5. This is being played in Andrews on Friday. Give me Idalou in this one.
Yeah, I know their records are nearly the same, and Alpine did get a good win over 2A Wink in the non-district, but I still feel that. That's weird. They have them playing Crane twice. I still feel that Idalou is just a better team. And again, Idalou is a different draw. They might be making it to the region final. I think you can tell, though, at the end of the day, we all know who's going to end up winning this region.
Yeah, it's Canadian and Idalou in the third round.
That's what I was saying. If they had a better draw, if they were at the top of we said it last week, the top of this bracket is where you want to be. Because even Crane or Roosevelt can feel that if they win this week, we have a chance to make the region final.
Sure.
All right, let's go down to region 2 and one of the good games this week. Jacksboro 11-0 versus Bells 9-1. 7 p.m. Friday at Denton's Collins Stadium, a great place to watch a game. I have wondered at times this year how good this 11-0 Jacksboro team is.
I think they're really good.
I think they are too. But in saying that, Callisburg hung 40 on them in a close game. I think as good as Jacksboro is.
Oh, yeah, but Jacksboro still won that game.
Yeah, but I mean, still though, you got if you gave up
40. Okay, well, Gunner hung 64 on Bells.
Okay, who's better, Callisburg or Bell or Gunner?
Oh, we all know Callisburg.
I
understand.
Here's a good.
I know what you're saying.
Well, I was about to say this though. Part 2 of that was Bells and Callisburg played in non-district, and it's a long time ago, but they beat them 49-22.
Mm-hmm.
We do calibration games, but we don't hold them to gold. But in saying that, I just think Bells this is a bad matchup for Jacksboro.
I don't know, man. Look, I understand. Look, Bells has Easton Helgren at running back, Hayden Allen at running back.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if this Bells defense is going to be able to contain Lando Belcher.
Yeah, I do think this is a higher scoring game. That's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a
Luke
real good
Sams
point.
at running back, Cameron Valenzuela at receiver. I think Jacksboro will outscore Bells
I can see that 100%.
I do think that Jacksboro might need to steal a possession or so, maybe, right?
Yeah.
With a turnover, something like that. But I think Jacksboro wins this game. There's a reason Jacksboro is 11-0.
Because they cheat?
No.
Oh.
Because they're good.
Oh, okay. I guess so. No,
That
you're
being
right.
said,
I do agree.
Bells is 9-1, pretty much almost undefeated if they didn't play a gunner.
Well, it's so funny how this region is, because we all know about Gunner, but right under Gunner is Holiday, and they can never get past Gunner. And then right under Holiday is Bells, and they can never get past Holiday. But Bells is still, in my opinion, third in the hierarchy of this region. I think it's a close game. I think it's one of the better games. I just think Bells' slot T at the end of the day wears Jacksboro down. But I'm like you. I do think this is a 48-42, 35-31 type of game.
I think it's going to be worth the price of admission going over to Denton to see that. I
100% agree with that.
All right, they'll take on the winner of Holiday 10-1 and Leonard 6-5 over in Weatherford on Friday. Give me Holiday, though it's not going to be necessarily easy for the Eagles.
No, I actually agree with that. And by the way, you can hear the Holiday show. We will record that Thursday morning. Wait, this game's Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, I had to make sure, because if it's Thursday, I have to do that show Wednesday. But we'll be doing it Thursday. And the one thing, I mean, this is why they've struggled against Gunner, is they struggle against really athletic teams. I think they're better prepared this year for that. I don't think that Leonard will beat them by any stretch, but I do think this will be a game that you go in it when we're doing our scores around halftime and you're like, oh, wow, man, Leonard's hanging around. But I think at the end of the day, the one thing people aren't talking about with what Holiday is doing now is he has married what he wants to do by spreading it out. And then in the second half, when need be, go back to what Frank Johnson does. And they're able to so far do that very well. Garrett Cox at quarterback has been amazing, but they can go 10 play 90 yards if they need to. So at the end of the day, I think Holiday ends up grinding them down. But I'm like you. I'm glad you said that. That's a good pick, man. You're doing pretty good at this.
Thank you, man. Been here a while, so
yeah. Sometimes I lose you.
And the playoff tree right here just inspires me.
It awesome?
Does.
It's awesome.
All the helmets on there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
I would love
I don't see a Roy City helmet, but
they're all
cool.
NFL. I was just about to say I'd love to one day.
Dumb.
We'll bring a Roy City ornament and we'll put it up there. I have a Marshall, I just can't find it.
I don't think we have ornaments.
We'll see in big time programs. You always have ornaments. Speaking of a game that the non football aficionado like you are, I think a lot of people look at this next game and assume Scurry Ross are 11-0 would beat Comanche 7-4 Friday, 7 p.m. Burleson Stadium. I like Comanche in this game.
I was going back and forth.
Oh, I have been too. I'm not. I say that confidently, but it's not. I'm full of crap. I don't.
Comanche. They have two proven players from the last, well, at least last year. Comanche's running back Sawyer Wilkerson, really good. Layden Welch, the quarterback, really good. Scurry Rosser, let's go back and look. Let's re-examine this. They have outscored their opponents 461-125. Now, I know those opponents were probably a few lesser opponents, but still 461-125.
It's still big. Yeah, you're right.
Running back Ralph Miller, Caden Bradshaw at quarterback.
Yeah.
That's really good. Now, do I really trust in a dude named Ralph? That being said, there's a reason Scurry Rosser's 11-0.
Yeah.
I'm going Scurry Rosser, and I think it would actually be an upset, an 11-0 team beating a 7-4 team, but I'm going with Scurry on this one.
All right, so here's my counter. Comanche is 7-4. They started out 3-0. They then hit a rough patch in who they played, but also of injuries. They lost to Toller. They lost to Albany. They lost to Millsap and Jacksboro. Now, Albany game, 31-13. That's not bad. Toller, a little bit out of hand, 41-18. That's when they got hit by injuries. But the Jacksboro game, they lost by 8 points. Yeah. I think Jacksboro is better than Scurry Rosser. So
I do too.
Transproperative and
how about
aggressive.
They lose to Millsap?
35-22. And that was
Millsap is
Millsap got beat last week by Wichita City View.
Yeah.
Millsap had a surprising season to get to the playoffs.
It's still Millsap.
It's still Millsap. They're still a couple years away. I think that foundation is being laid. But no, that's right. That is but again, going back to Comanche was really beat up, and they're getting healthy. So we'll see.
I'm going back against the last 2 years we've seen Comanche in the playoffs. Once against Bells and I can't remember
Holiday last year.
Was it Holiday?
Yeah,
one year
because that Comanche did kind of what like Malakoff and all them said. They realized after how Holiday pushed them around that they had to be more physical. And
they're up front.
Yes,
they didn't seem all that strong. But Scurry Rosser, I have not seen in person yet.
Yeah, I've only seen anything I've seen on film has been highlights, and highlights are great, but you're only seeing the good. Yeah.
So I think maybe assuming that Comanche's not as good up front or they're about what they were last year up front.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Scurry Rosser.
I have no problem with that.
There's a reason Scurry Rosser's undefeated, just like there's a reason that Jacksboro's undefeated. If you're 5-0, that's a lot different than if you're 10-0
in a playoff one. Yeah, that's a really good point. All right. And again, we argue about a matchup.
Do Coach X at all?
Oh, crap. All right, here we go.
Let's do this pick, and then you catch up.
All right, so we for all the talk about that game, the winner takes on Gunner 11-0 versus Wichita Falls City 7-4.
City View.
I don't know why it's the city. Thursday at Denton Collins Stadium, 7 p.m. Now, I will say this: Wichita Falls City View has some athletes. And that's about as far as I can go. Gunner will thump them.
They don't have near the athletes and the 11 for 11 ball players that Gunner has.
Yeah,
Gunner is so, I don't know. Gunner, Canadian. That's all I can say.
Yeah, no, you're totally right on that.
Listen.
Why don't I get my own walk-up music?
You do.
No, I don't. I don't get my own. Like, give it to me, G. Give it to me, G.
Well, you gotta find. Okay, so go find a rapper and ask him to write a song or a singer. Give it to me,
yeah,
G.
I'm like, I don't.
That just sounds weird. All right, here's Coach X. Sorry, legitimately, this wasn't intentional.
Oh, was it not?
Well, Coach X worked really hard getting all his picks ready for the past week, and Comrade Bennett decided that the people didn't need to hear some of my picks. Look here, Fidel. Mr. Jefferson, Adams, Washington, and Franklin all got together for the sole purpose of Sideline to Sideline podcast to allow freedom of speech to a certain coach who has certain letter for a name that coaches in a certain town that shall remain nameless. When those men were writing that down, they didn't say Coach X will be able to be on the Sideline to Sideline podcast unless Grant and Larry start talking about restaurants and Halloween candy. Hey, and while I'm at it, I'm loving how we went from PG-ish format under the Lone Star Gridiron to the PG-16 format under Brett Lee. I like how I can now throw a damn dick and ass in there. Whoa. And Fidel does not get all worried, even though he said the F word once. No, I didn't. Bang up job, Brett. Keep it up. Now, X going to give it to you? Maybe. All right. So let me go to...
Go to the top.
No, we'll just read on from here. This is perfect. Gunner versus Wichita Falls City View. Is Gunner playing a bank? I didn't even know they were allowed to have football teams. Are the high school players, or is it men playing high school football? Bishop Sycamore tried that, but it didn't work out. But they did get an HBO show out of it so that they have that going for them. And they have a schedule next year, by the way. I say that this is the week that I mean there is no way that we can't win if they are playing a bank. Most of the time, there are women working there too. So I got to pick, give me the Wichita Falls Credit Unions over the Tigers.
He's confusing V and U.
Yeah.
Okay. Just noting
that. Look, whenever we send for this one, we just tell him to make a pick and then pick out some teams to do a write-up. Whenever he does Gunner, he does all the other picks early. And then Gunner, it has to be done late Monday night in the shower with a Jack Daniels bottle because he hates Gunner so much, but he cannot accept.
In the shower?
He says that if you drink in the shower, you're not an alcoholic. I don't know. It's his view.
Did they really?
That's what he says. I don't know if that's true.
I'll write that down.
All right, let's go to Region 3.
In the shower.
West Rusk 9 and
alone. Alone. Because I always heard drinking alone makes you an alcoholic, which kind of like to do that. But now I'm always in the shower alone.
Yeah, you are you?
Well, most times.
Jeffrey comes in there.
Wow. That's a little uncomfortable, sir.
West
if
Rusk.
you knew the backstory of that's unacceptable. All right, go ahead.
West Rusk 9-2 versus New Diana 8-2 Friday at Henderson Lions Stadium. Here's what Coach X has to say about this one. Excuse me. New Diana, oh, don't you cry for me. I come from New London with a football game to play. Is there an old Diana? I mean, there is a London, so it makes sense that there are New London. So is there a Diana? Is there a Zealand? Like, is there a whole country that is named New Zealand so that that would lead to one to believe that there was a Zealand somewhere else? Has to be, right? If there wasn't, then why do they call it New Zealand? Terry, ? Give me the Raiders. I think because they came from a area of Zealand in Australia, if I remember correctly. Anyway, who do you have in this game?
I want to fact check you.
I'm not 100% sure. That could be one of those YouTube things.
Give me West Rusk, man. Look, West Rusk, running back Cole Jackson, 2 running backs, Cole Jackson, Noah Murphy, their quarterback Xander Mason. I just think they're going to be too much offensively for New Diana, so it's going to be West Rusk taking on the winner of Hooks and Dangerfield. What do you think?
A few years ago when West Rusk made that improbable run, it was all offense. This year, it's been all defense.
Mm-hmm.
In saying that, we talked about it last week. How many times have we seen a team like West Rusk that 2 years ago was supposed to be a favorite, last year was supposed to be a favorite, made good runs, but ended up getting beat at least a round earlier than we thought. And then when you're ready to go, okay, they have a rebuild year, this is when they all of a sudden pop through. Right. Now, they're still a round off. They went 13 games a couple years ago. But I do think with the way this bracket is, I don't think I think it would be a pretty big upset if New Diana won this game.
Yeah, I think West Rusk at least gets to the third round. They're up against it.
Oh, yeah, no matter who.
Yeah. Hooks and Dangerfield Friday over in Pittsburgh. I think Jimmy and I are going to this game over in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jimmy, the official catfish cooker of the show.
Yeah. So if you see us, say hi, flip us off, whatever. Hooks 10-0, Dangerfield 8-3. Man, I am so torn on this one.
This is
Hooks. They got Rip Birdwell at quarterback, Keyshawn Walls at running back, who seems to be pretty much unstoppable. Jartavius Johnson at receiver, Emmanuel Baird at receiver. But then as athletic as Dangerfield is on both sides of the ball, if Dangerfield shows up and plays clean, they're impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Right? Will they do that?
I thought that they were headed that way. I really, really did until they lost to Harmony. Now, I know Harmony's Harmony, but I just kind of felt if you're going to be able to beat Hooks, you should be able to beat Harmony. You couldn't beat Harmony. It was a close game. I'm not saying it like that, but I just feel Hooks is the more complete football team.
Right now, I'm taking Hooks because I think
but don't be surprised.
Walls, and don't be surprised at all.
And
I'm
to be honest with
Hooks just because I think they can control the clock with Birdwell handing the ball off to Keyshawn Walls.
Yeah.
Right? And this Hooks defense at times has played really, really well. Sometimes just stop down defense. I think if you're going to hit Hooks, it's going to be over the top. Kind of like Winsboro did a little bit in the first.
Dangerfield can do.
Yeah, they can. I mean, they're more athletic than even Winsboro was when you're looking at the edges, right?
I agree.
I still like Hooks being able to control the football game and control the pace. And that's the thing. Controlling the pace.
That's a good point right there.
When you're a team like Dangerfield, at times that kind of gets in their own heads, if you can control the pace.
Get them frustrated?
Yeah, you control the game.
Yeah,
right. And I think Hooks will do that.
I'll say this. I still think Hooks wins, but if there's a blowout, it'll be Dangerfield.
Oh, yeah. This is a weird one.
Yeah, this is one of those
weird
games where even
it's kind of like Texas OU.
Yeah.
If Texas wins, it's going to be close. If OU wins, they're going to kick our ass.
Except for like this year. But yeah, you're 100% right. That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I still think Hooks is the more complete team, but this is one of the most uneasy picks for me going in. Harmony 9-2 versus ARP 8-3 Friday, Hallsville Bobcat Stadium.
ARP not as bad as what a lot of people were thinking they were 3 years ago, how bad they were.
Oh, man,
and look at them
it's
now.
Been a while.
All of a sudden, they're in the second round. They're up against Boston Seahorn and Harmony, who's 9-2?
Yeah.
Right? I like Harmony, but, man, ARP is they're that Texas Tech type of team that is going to stick their stick in your spoke.
Yeah, and I think I'm going Harmony, but another one I don't feel comfortable either.
I don't either.
It's so funny. When ARP lost to Troop a few weeks ago, I would have never thought Troop was going to get beat by New Boston, and then ARP would still be alive in the playoffs.
And the way New Boston beat Troop.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a
like
1
Jimmy
point.
told me. He texted me and said, New Boston beat the socks off of Troop.
Yeah, makes you wonder.
All these games right here, outside of West, all of them, we're not really sure. Right, Newton, New Boston. I can pick Newton with certainty. Newton, one of the best teams in 3A Division II.
Yeah,
right. I can pick Newton over New Boston. They'll take on the winner of Harmony and ARP. But between the other 3 games in this region are a toss-up, or we're just not real sure. You know what that means? That means that's a very tough region.
Yeah, and I don't know.
It's a region of doom.
Yeah, it's a region of doom. And I'm like New Boston, great win, but Troop.
Well, Newton's on a different level.
Well, and we see a Troop every year. It starts out hot. They feel like they're the hot pick.
Because offensively they're great, but their defense lacks. You don't see that defensive deficiency until it gets to nut cutting time, and then you see it.
Yeah, exactly. And so good on New Boston. Unfortunately, you've got a tough one in Newton. All right, let's go to Region 4 to finish up this show. Rogers 8-3 versus Comfort 6-5. This is Friday at Buddha Shelton Stadium. Give me Rogers.
Yeah,
good to see Comfort back in the second round.
Yeah, definitely. Rogers with 2 really good running backs in Bryce Watson and Abraham Hernandez. They can run the ball down your throat at times. I don't know that Comfort defensively is ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So we both have them. Coach
X,
X,
slot T, I believe.
Yes,
the Rogers Eagles.
Yes,
run.
Coach X has the next one, so let me read that. Tidehaven versus Dilley, 10-0, 8-2, Friday at Corpus Christi's Warriors Stadium. Coach X says, "Man, it's been a long time since Dilley has been on the show, and they have been missed. People from Dilley have been emailing me, hitting me up on Twitter, saying, why don't we talk about them anymore? We are proud does, and we deserve to be mentioned." Bud Light even made a whole marketing campaign about our town, even though we don't talk about that anymore. But come on, Dilly. Coach X has convinced many first-year coaches that the mascot of the Dillies are the Does. They Dilly Does. They always get the job done. But I think Tidehaven might break it off this week. Tigers win. I agree with him.
Okay, you know how I know that Coach X is lying here? That the Dilly fans are emailing him
because they have no internet.
Well, and also that I went to high school with the head coach of Dilly,
David Silva.
Servanda. It's actually Servando.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Silva was.
I guess he is going proper now, David, but it was Servando Silva.
Oh, okay.
And he has not once reached out to me. So,
you were telling me last week after 5 beers that you game plan. You were like, I game plan everything the Wolves do. Wow, man, I feel lied to.
No, so Servando, I know you're not listening because you haven't reached out,
and they have no internet down there.
No, they do.
Sure,
it's not too far out of San Antonio. Where do you think it is?
I know where it's.
Matamoros or something. Even in Matamoros, they have internet.
AOL disc don't count.
Okay. Anyway, I do think Tidehaven 10-0 beats Dilley 8-2. Remember this Tidehaven defense has only given up 20 points all year.
Yeah. And let's also,
and I say the defense, actually the whole team has given up 20 points. One of those has probably come from like a special teams thing. So Tidehaven has probably defensively given up less than 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, this was a team that took Pope to the mat last year, and they're better this year.
Yeah.
They returned a bunch. It was 7 on offense, 9 on defense, and we talked about them in the non-district when I think it was Goliad, and we talked about how good Goliad is, and Odom, both of them 2-round teams, and they shut them both out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And then we kind of put them on the back burner because 14-3A outside of them and East Bernard was kind of, Bowling proved that by getting beat in the first round.
I guess I don't know why we didn't go down and see Tidehaven in the regular season.
I think the one game was East Bernard. I think that was one of the ones that I can't remember who we went, but it was a better game. I mean, nothing against them, but it was just a better game, and that happens.
Yeah.
We were just again talking about our Thanksgiving stuff. If they get through this one and it's them and Rogers, that might be one of those games that we're seeing next week. All right, here's a good one. Poth 10-1 versus East Bernard 8-3, 7 p.m. at a great place Friday at Pflugerville's the field. One of the best, nicest people. They are awesome to you when you're up in the booth. They're
I think
everywhere.
Pflugerville, they're not getting as many playoff games as they have gotten in the last 2 years, but they still getting 1 or 2. But I think Pflugerville, the field is going to be what Pennington Field was back in the 90s.
And I remember last year,
it's going to be ground zero for playoff football.
And I remember last year when we were talking to them, they said that theirs picks up at round 3. Mm-hmm. The region semifinals and the region finals is where they get a lot. We
saw a couple of great first and second round games.
Yeah, I absolutely love that place.
Poth in East Bernard. Give me Poth, but it ain't easy.
Give me East Bernard.
Okay.
They've changed their offense up a little bit. They some teams when they have that first bad year, and we know it was really bad last year. The one year we did an East Bernard show, and they go 1-9, 2-8.
Yeah, but with a hellacious schedule.
Yeah, they played at 3-7. They played a hellacious schedule, and this year they played it. And they started out. You're thinking, okay, here we go. They lose to Edna, they lose to Hitchcock, but then they beat Ganado, Shiner, lost to Tidehaven 15-7. That was a 1 possession game all throughout. Yeah. Since then, they have been on a roll, and they did lose. Wait, what? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. They have somebody put the score. They lost the Post 69-0. Like that would be mean. Quit messing with the apps, people. I just think that this is an upset. Poth has not been quite as good as they were last year. They've still been good.
They're. I don't think they're as good as they were last year.
I mean, that was a team that made the state championship game. That's why. And Jeff Luna has them back. And this is going to be a really tough game. But when you look at it, we talked about they beat Dilly 10-7. I don't know. It's just that scared. They lost to Blanco. That was their only loss on the year. Yeah, just give me East Bernard. I think it's going to be close, but I like East Bernard in this one.
And I like Poth. All right, and they're going to take on the winner of Odom and Lexington. Odom 8-2, Lexington, I believe 8-3. This is over in Yoakum on Friday. Odom, really good quarterback, and Josh Cherva, around 2,100 yards passing. The thing is, Lexington has a sophomore quarterback in Case Evans that has about 2,400 yards passing.
Yeah.
He's got 3 really good receivers in Mason Beal, Weston Bayer, and Odin Rodas. It's all going to come down to defense in this game, right?
Yeah.
Whose defense is better? Well, Lexington has given up points. Odom has, I think, fared a little better on the points.
But who have they played?
Yeah,
that's
compared
the big difference.
to Lexington. Give me Lexington. I think it's going to be Lexington and Poth in the next round. You think it's going to be?
Well, I want to go back to real quick. Last year, Odom came off of 11-1 season, had everybody back on offense, nobody back on defense, and they proceeded to go 1-9. But in that 1-9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games were 1 possession games. 5 of those games were lost in the last minute.
Wow.
So they rebounded this year, only having 2 on offense, but 7 on defense. And they have played better defense. But I agree with you. Their better defenses have been against the Hebronvilles, the Bankettis, the Natilias, while, Lexington has been playing Troy and Rockdale, losing them, but playing them tough. I just think that Lexington's a little bit better football. Not little. I think it's probably a 14 to 20 point.
I do too. I think Lexington is now starting to stretch their legs and fill their oats.
But congrats.
They had those 3 losses and everybody was kind of writing them off.
Yes.
Right. And now here comes Case Evans in this Lexington Eagle team. And all of a sudden maybe they are one of those teams that can make it to the region finals against the Tidehaven, right?
Yes, I really kind of feel that's where we're going.
And it's a very young team, too.
Yes. Oh, good point on that. And again, that losing to Troy and Rockdale the way they did early in the season, to me, kind of set the table. All right. That's going to do it for the 3A show. Man, these shows are flying by. I mean, they're about an hour, but it feels like they're flying by tonight. Want to remind everybody that you can find us on Facebook, Sideline to Sideline, on Twitter, @Grant and Terry. Email us, grantandterry@s2ssport.com. Thank our sponsors, SI Design and Printing, Small Town Society, Jet Boats of Texas, and Everidge Farms. We'll be having so much about all of them here in the next few weeks. Again, our state championship week, we're going to do our pregame and stuff like we always have done. We're going to have the crew helping out with that, but we're also going to be doing some live watch parties. That's where we all watch the game together, and we film us on this side as we do it, taking questions from all the listeners and all that fun stuff. But that's a few weeks away. Be safe in your travels. Hope your team wins. Either way, let's meet back next week and talk round 3 and turkey football right here on Sideline to Sideline, the 3A edition. Brought to you by SI Design and Printing on L4 Media.
Yeah, 'cause I've been known to write a few songs, loving and leaving and get too stoned. Bottle and a pistol by